I've messed around with the settings a little bit. Today we are going to be focusing on something that I have been looking forward to for quite a while now. We are going to be focused on the out of bounds decor, the environmental decor. It'll be able to be put in the map as well, but really what I want this for is for what's all out of bounds. Basically, this is going to be consistent across clients. This is going to be procedurally generated for each area, though. So it's going to be unique, and it should be the same when you're walking through each of these large grouped zones. But this is going to make the world feel more alive, so that the world doesn't just hit this darker area at the edge of the map, and it's like, oh, you can't go here. No, this will be so that there's actually there's going to be actual what's it called? Actual trees, actual objects, actual stuff outside of the map. Also, we are at day 50. This is gonna make the world feel that's volume. The world doesn't just hit this. Anyways, we are at day 50. This is a big milestone. We are halfway to 100 days. This is gonna be ongoing for a couple of years, though. So let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. But we are at day 50, which is a huge milestone. I am so happy to be here. I am happy to be working on this. This has been a goal of mine for well over a decade now. Since I was in high school, I started planning on making an MMORPG. I tailored my entire sort of career and schooling pathway to get me the skills that I need to make it. And then just as I was starting to work on things, getting some of the back-end stuff in place, getting some of the technical chops down, getting some of the distribution ready, and the infrastructure that I would need for some of the back-end stuff, AI really starts to pop off, and I'm able to make some insane progress now. So, without further ado, I'm going to get this stuff back off of the screen. I really should update this a little bit so that I can, like, reload certain things without having to redraw them every single day, but I draw them, and I would like to get some other colors in here without it being a bit of a pain for me to change my colors, because I think that'll make this a little bit more interesting rather than having it up against all of the code background. There we go. I mean, that makes it look a little bit nicer. But anyways, we're going to get this off of the screen, and we are going to get started on the environmental decor, which I have been looking forward to so much here. Get that off of the screen. It's fully deleted. Now, let's take a look at what we've got first of all, so that we can see what's going to actually change here. Environmental decor. We're going to read over this a little bit. But first off, we're going to get the server up and running. We're going to get the client up and running as well. And then I will show off sort of where we're at now and what's going to be changing and what to keep your eyes on for the goal of today. And get the client running now. This is going to get it pulled up here. It's going to take a moment before it actually gets picked up by Streamlabs, but I promise it's up here. So, what do we have at the moment? There we go. Took a little while there. We have our login screen here. Right now, it's really just taking a username. It creates a new one for each. I've been testing on Imp. So here's our world. We got our gear and our stuff. We got a little bit of sprites for everything. And now this is actually really important here that we're going to have the tree sprites, because you'll notice here as I walk over to the out of bounds area, we get stopped on this wall. This wall is just a dark border, but there's nothing out here. There's literally nothing at all. We don't have anything to find at all. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding a procedural generation to add a whole bunch of sprites, probably a lot larger than these ones, in the out of bounds that will generate every single time for every zone, consistently across every client every single time. There's going to be a couple of ways we're going to have to do this. We're going to need to make sure that we have our actual world seed, or I guess it's going to be zone seeds that we use as the default base, and then we take each individual zone group. Yeah, we're going to have a zone seed for each of them. We're going to have a zone group of out of bound configurable decorations, and then we will use that zone seed to randomly generate the out of bounds area decorations, pull from the decor pile, and then populate the out of bounds area. So this is going to be done client side every single time. This means that there's going to be less load on the server, a little bit more load on the clients, but the good thing is it means the game is still going to play nice and smooth. So if I minimize the game right now, we can go and take a look through the documentation of what I've got planned up here. Hey Oceanies, how are you doing today? How's your game going? So my goal for today is 2 related visual features. The solid environment decor. This is going to be stuff that's going to be able to be placed in the world as well to give additional decorations that you can't really cut it down or you can't mine it. So it's going to be non-harvestable objects, large trees, craggy trees, thorn bushes, large rocks. Placeable in the zone config, server collision within walkable zones, client-only visual output, procedural out-of-bounds fill. This is what I was talking about right before. That's good to hear, Oceanies. We're going to replace the flat, dark out-of-bounds tiles, those ones I was just pointing to before, with some deterministic decor generated from within the player's viewpoint. Same output for all clients. The decisions are going to be, we basically went over the server collision scope, the procedural seed, the decor tile set format, and the density. These are going to be all basically configurable. We've gone over this quite a few times as we were getting some of the initial planning ready. So we've got a couple of decor types planned for the initial set. We've got decor tree large, craggy, thorn bush, rock large, rock small, and stump. So most of these are going to be actually way larger than all of these are actually suggesting here. I do want to get this updated a little bit. So let's add notes to add here. Our notes to add here. We're going to want to make sure that the smallest out of bounds decor object must be 2 by 2. Largest out of bounds decor object must be, I don't know, we're going to go with like 10 by 10. Maybe we actually even want to do more of this. Maybe we want to do like 10 by 15. Let's do like 7 by 14. 7 by 14 sounds good. Bar credits on and auto top on for credits for codex. Seems like you're spending a lot of time working on it. Are you guiding it, or are you sort of spinning up a bunch of agents off and letting them go off on their own? Because I'm curious to know what your sort of workflow for it is. Since right now a lot of people are trying to find different workflows that work for themselves. I know this works really well for me with all the planning docs beforehand and then using these to guide. But I'm always curious to find out how other people are working with them. So we've got our decor tile set config here. Tile set will live in data decor. We're going to be adding that. Initial tile sets to create. We're going to have our forest decor. Really, all we need right now is our forest decor. The other stuff is kind of for zones that we haven't even made it right now. So then we're going to have the zone. We're going to have to add zone configs to the. Okay, yeah. What is type out of bounds tile set forest decor? Oh, okay, so this is the decor in the actual zone, and then this is the tile set that's used for the out of bounds decor. Density override solid true, entries register blocking on the server's walkability map, and zone load time. Procedural out of bounds algorithm. This is sort of what I touched on before. For each tile X, tile Y in the viewport that falls outside of the walkable zone. Group seed, seed tiles, tile set dot seed XOR group zone ID times prime, tile hash 32 group seed txty roll tile hash %100 density %int efficient so zone override or tile set default. If rolls less than the density %, tile X weighted, render decor sprite for the type. The dark out of bounds tint remains. Procedural decor renders on top of it, not instead of it. 2 clients in the same viewport position always produce identical decor. The seed derivations use only the tile set seed and the zone group ID. Implementation order: define initial tile set, add decor, add environmental decor. So one thing I'm not seeing here is our Atlas baseline stuff, or our Atlas generated sprites. But what process do you use for asking it? Do you set up anything around it, Ocean, or what's your what's your process for it? Just like to make sure that you get what you're looking for out of it. So we're gonna have to add our decors. We're gonna have to add our files that we're gonna have to modify sprites environment. Notes for add. Each decor tile set needs a new Atlas generated default sprite sheet. Outstanding questions. Okay, so here we go. We're going to get started on this. I have added a few notes to add, specifically around the decor sizes, as well as the Atlas placeholder sprites. Include these detailed in the Q4 and environment decor document. There we go. I'm very much looking forward to this. This is right alongside when we get more, every time we get more sprites. Because this is going to make this world feel a lot more like a world to me, at least. And it's something that I feel doesn't get too much attention in a lot of other games. Normally the world kind of ends right at either like a sharp drop off, or there's like a wall of cliffs, and you don't really see outside of them. So this might the one thing that I'm a little concerned for is when I get to like this crossing point between the town and the forest. Right along this border, the out of bounds stuff is going to change because the seed is going to be different for the town versus for the forest. And that means that it's going to make... So basically, if I just draw this on here, here is the edge. This side here, or when I'm standing in the town, there might be like a tree here, a rock or bush here, rock or bush here, another tree here. And so that's what it might look like from this side. But when I cross over to this side, first off, let me kill the goblin. When I cross over to this side, instead of being the tree, where's the boundary? Instead of being the tree here, there might be like a rock or a big bush here, a tree over here, another rock here, and then out here it could be like a rock, a bush, a tree. And so basically these will be different if you pay attention to where you cross the boundaries. But I think that is I think that's a trade-off that I'm willing to make, because we also have the tint that changes. So, and like when you're out of here, it'll render stuff in here as well. So really it's not going to be the worst. It's not going to be the worst. Let's take a look at the changes here. Out of bounds decor size ranges. Out of bounds decor must be at minimum 2x2 tiles. 1x1 objects are in zone place decor only. Maximum out of bounds object size 7x14. Atlas placeholders. Each decor tile set requires its own dedicated generated sprite sheet. Why were the footprints not updated? Out of bounds size constraints. Well, they're not really constraints. They're just requirements for the visual appeal. Objects referenced in the tileset configs must be 2x2 tile at minimum footprint for out of bound decor. The largest of any object may be is 7x14 tiles. The 1x1 types are excluded from all out of bounds tile sets. Entries must be larger. Okay, there's a couple of things I need to double check. Okay, so the tile set is added to there, and then, yep. I want clarification on the understanding of the out of bounds decor. Is the if there is very large tree and very large craggy tree that are sprites the size of 6 by 12 and 7 by 14, do they still have footprint of 2 by 2, or how are the placement versus sprite size differentiated? So this is an important distinction here that we're going to need. We want to make sure that things are still able to be placed close enough together, but are visually large enough to fill the spaces. Sprite size and placement footprint are two separate things. Here's how they differ. Sprite size. Visual entity and rendering measures a very large tree might be 6 by 12 visually. Sprite covers that many tiles on the screen. Placement footprint, the ground tiles the objects claim for placing and for zones. So 6 by 12 sprite would be here. Okay, so it does have sprite with sprite footprint. The sprite is drawn, anchored at the bottom center of the footprint. Everything else above and to the sides is purely visual overhang. Depth sorted by the anchor tiles Y rendered. What the 2x2 minimum and 7x14 max actually constrains the sprite size, not footprint. The minimum means no out of bounds sprite is smaller than this visually, no ground level clutter, and looks like a tile variant. The maximum means no single out of bounds consumes more than this. The footprint across all out of bounds can remain small, typically 2x2 or 3x3. For even the largest sprites, it controls the exclusion zone used by the procedural placement algorithm to prevent sprites from overlapping each other at their bases. A 7x14 sprite with a 2x2 footprint would still only block a 2x2 placement area, though you'd tune the density low enough that its canopy rarely clips adjacent objects visually. Want me to update the document with this distinction, explicitly adding sprite width, height. Yes, make sure this distinction is called out specifically. Okay. So, one of the things that I did do while I was puttering yesterday afterwards, I made a couple of specific changes. One, I can grind any herb into the ground herb. These will be distinctly separated later, but additionally, I can now place campfires. Can't actually interact with them or use them in any way yet, but they should be able to be used for fishing now, which is good. Or I guess for cooking if we were able to fish. It might make sense for us to make one of the mobs drop a raw fish just so that we can test the cooking out. But that's something we'll get to later. Anyways, I have my nice little orange traffic cone in the middle of the forest, or the middle of the town. Probably want to make the tile base a bit larger, make it a bit more intricate. I don't know. It's placeholders right now, so. And I'm waiting around. This should despawn fairly soon. It should only last around for like 36 seconds because it's birch. So I'm waiting. I want to see it despawn. If it doesn't, then that's something that we're going to have to fix later. not too big of an issue at the moment. All right, let's see. Sprite size versus placement footprint. These are two separate concepts that must be defined independently. On every decor type, sprite size is the visual extent of the rendered image in tiles. A very large tree sprite, 6x12, occupies 6 tile width and 12 tiles height of screen space. This is what the player sees. Placement footprint, the ground tile and the object, a ground tile that the object claims, used for in-zone solid decor and tiles. The tiles registered as walkability blockers on the server. Out-of-bounds procedural placement, the exclusion zone after placing an object. Anchor tiles within its footprint are skipped to prevent the base overlap between the adjacent objects. The sprite is anchored to the bottom center of the footprint and extends upward and outward from there. A 6x12 sprite with a 2x2 footprint has a 2x2 tile wide trunk at ground level. The upper 10 rows of the canopy visually overhang surrounding tiles but claim no collision. Or placement space. Depth sort, Painter's algorithm uses the footprint anchors wide tile. Okay, yeah, the campfire is still around, which shouldn't be the case. So there might be a bit of an issue there. Campfire expiry needs to remove it from the world. Out-of-bounds size constraints apply to sprite size, not footprint. 7x14 can still have a 2x2 footprint, and the footprint for any type is typically small regardless of how tall or wide the sprite is. Example decor type configuration. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure that I pop open a new terminal just so I can add planning for out of bounds and decor. Okay, the Q4 environment decor document looks good. Looks good now. Make a to-do list of all of the make a plan to-do list of all of the changes in order to incorporate all requirements of the Q4 environment of the Q4 doc. Then implement the plan. Implement. There we go. Then implement the plan. That sounds good to me. Like yesterday, I added 3 fake mon lines for the region, and water electric fish final evo was my favorite of the 3 lines. Water electric fish, so a different one from Lantern, or was it Lantern getting an evolution? The fire is still here. So now that I've sent Claude off on its mission, I am gonna go and enjoy the world a little bit. I do need to increase the era time at some point so that I'm not constantly getting my level reset. Then again, the leveling skills aren't very fast. Different fake one, completely new line. Okay, cool. Yeah, I really gotta get some actual good sprites going. I also have to make it so that I think I need to make it so that some of the sprites are larger for like herbs and whatnot. Probably helps if I take the lid off of my drink before I try to drink it. But it could also be that I just need to make it so that I can full screen my game. Because right now, a lot of these things are very tiny. Like even the main character looks kind of tiny. If I give him a sprite, he's going to be very small. I want to see full screened first because that'll probably make it look a bit better. There was also a bug, fire termite line, and a grass ground elephant line. Cool. Oh shoot, these are the wolves. Right, the wolves are very strong. The wolves are so strong, it's ridiculous. I think they seem stronger than the orc. Oh, speaking of which, I want to go fight the orc because I did change. I did change the orc around a little bit. I buffed him to try to make him a lot stronger than he currently was. Or currently was? That doesn't make sense. Currently, or last was. When I showed him last. Level 5. Level 6. No, give me the gold coins. Give me the gold. Actually, I'll just take both because I can crush this. I can also go back and grab this because I can crush that. Alright, so. How often is it going to fire the large AoE one? I don't like that I can just hold my ability at, like, the full charge. Like, I have this prepped, I can then walk up and... Oh, maybe I can't. Huh. Yeah, not sure how I feel about that. Hey, let me pick up the gold. I gotta fix some inventory stuff. I'm gonna keep making notes. Inventory doesn't allow gold when full. It should. Inventory fullness not checked when crafting, refining items, i.e. HP salve. So, I want to add to the boss, I guess, like, if you watch for his ring shot, I want to make it so that he does, like, a triple ring that's kind of offset each time. Oh, he hit me and just one-shot me. Right, I increased the damage by a lot. Like, a lot. Oh, I also got reset to level 1. I think I would have lived it otherwise. I wanted to try to find the boss fight. Only shows boulder throw and ring shot. Oh yeah, I guess it didn't cast the other ones. Boulder throw, offset to ring shot. So, I wonder if the stuff is going to be, because I had a full inventory of materials. I wonder if it's still going to be on the ground when I get in here, or if it will have despawned. Oh! I cheesed it. I can pick up my stuff afterwards. I should probably make it so that on death you kind of you stop being able to control your character. Player needs to be unable to control character on death. Currently they can cheese pick up everything. Alright, so let's look at the to-do list. Create data decor, create data sprites, update command atlas main, gen atlas main, add a decor config, update config zones, decor, update entity zone, update wire, messages, world, simulation. Okay, looks good. So yeah, I kind of forgot. I really buffed the boss damage. You don't want to mess up and get hit right now. It's quite detrimental to the health of the character. Which, I mean, is probably the way it should be for a boss. I should probably come back to addressing buildings soon as well. I might add another step in this. Once I do the UI stuff, I might make buildings better. Not sure what exactly I should do about the buildings though. I don't want to be pulled away for asking on every single one. There's a reason I do all of the planning. Alright, we're going to make our way back to the boss. It's a bit of a run, but it's not the worst thing ever. Yeah, I've got to finish getting back to Master Ball tier on Pokemon Champions since the reset. I was almost there. I was like Ultra Ball 1.5 or halfway through Ultra Ball 1, and then I, for whatever reason, decided to mess with my team. Oh yeah, I had a loss, and I was like, I can't deal with it. Was Mega Swampert. I don't have a counter to it. And then so I messed around with my team, and then realized that the changes that I made it way worse, so I turned it back to what it was, and I've just been having really shitty RNG. I keep getting extra flinched, or I keep getting status effects, or I don't get any status effects, or I don't get any flinches. Basically, the RNG always ends up working against me. Oh, that hurt. I completely forgot about that one. I gotta run all the way back again. Back to the checkerboard. Right, one other thing I need to do, but I will make the notes for it in a moment. I need to make notes for Nature's Fall needs to not cast at max range. It should cast at the distance to the mouse when it's cast. If it's outside of the range, then it should cast at max range. Oh, that hurt. Yeah, Fortify looks like it's broken with the charge. Or with the crystal. Oh, good song. Let's go. I don't know if anyone's around, if they can tell me how the audio sounds as well. I did make some changes to the balance of the music versus my voice, or versus my talking. But I don't know how it actually is, how it turns out on the actual stream. So I'm not sure if you're still around, Ocean. If you are, I would really appreciate that little bit of feedback. Oh, I just got one shot by that. That just absolutely hit me with the full shotgun there. Alright, so it looks like the mobs are able to fight the player. Well, I mean, I also am running to the high-end zone. So it is what it is. Yeah, I really gotta swap Nature's Fall to just be 2 lines instead of 3. It would make sense if on modifications it gets a 3rd line, but just as like the default should probably be 2 lines. Oh, and I'm level 1 again. That's definitely not going to help me live anything. No, I died somewhere over here. I also don't necessarily know if my stuff despawned. I think it did because the era reset happened. Oh well. Let's go take a look at the chupacabras. Ooh. This is you standing on a high cliff. This is you Yeah, they hurt. There's also not really a good way at the moment without any of the animations to actually dodge the blood siphon. Do I feel the need to add that at the moment? No, not really. Hey, Kelly. How are you doing? I am currently testing some things out while I get some decorations added to the world. Yesterday was a bit of balancing stuff for mobs, specifically some of the higher end mobs, so that I was aware of sort of what kind of difficulty scaling I can put in. So if you see me running into random stuff and dying, it's because I'm low level and stuff is a high level. But things are also still, I've noticed I can really make stuff stronger still and make the level scaling actually matter. Also, if you don't mind me asking, how is the background music versus my voice? I did a bit of tuning on the volume levels, but I'm not actually sure how they turned out. So I was planning on checking later after. They should be roughly good from the testing that I did, but I won't know for certain until I'm able to go look at sort of the recordings. Holy wolf is dangerous. Hey, that wolf didn't even drop anything. I've been scammed out of my own loot in my own game. Alright, I don't think going back to the chupacabras is worth it for me even for testing. Alright, good to hear. Okay, into the boss room. Yes, it is sort of based on Realm of the Mad God. That is one of the MMOs that I play a lot. And really, it was better than trying to do middle mouse button for rotation. And it's kind of funny, I don't actually play Realm with camera rotation ever. But when I started making this, I kind of felt that I needed it. But that was kind of how it was from, originally I had like the melee abilities only cast upwards. So I had to add camera rotation for that. But then I still felt like it was kind of just annoying to use melee abilities. So I just made it so that they can aim at the mouse. Making a MOBA on the side. Are you a programmer for 20 years? Yeah, so I'm just shy of 30 now. I've been programming since I was a child. Obviously not professionally as a child, but still apparently a lot more than most people ever get the chance to. I started programming with Windows Bash scripts, specifically because I was trying to... One of the first things that I made was basically a YouTube playlist before YouTube had playlists. I made my own personal one on my computer. Then I made a file vault. Then I made like a text-based game. Then I started taking... Well, actually, I took quite a few summer camps of programming. I took quite a few courses of programming throughout school. And then I've been working professionally as a programmer for over 5 years now, I think. So, lots of hobbyist programming and then a handful of professional programming. It's always good to start young. And so I've been planning on this, I've been planning on this MMO for probably getting close to 15 years now, just working on small little bits in the background, and then I actually just started on the full MMO part, like the actual game portion of it, roughly, well, 50 days ago. Oh, very cool. Yeah, I really wish I learned to do mods. That was one thing I never touched. But they always seem... those are some of the most exciting things. Nice. It's kind of interesting going from hobbyist programming to full professional programming, because the things that change aren't necessarily the things you would expect, or the things that you worried about most. Oh shoot, these things hurt. Don't actually want to get hit by those. I found the things that changed and the things that I expected to be important ended up being completely sort of, not misaligned, but definitely not the way that I thought about them initially. And then around the same time, all of my hobbyist stuff started getting so much faster. Oh yes, I can actually woodcut the pine logs now. Let's go. I can't make them into a fire though. Oh. Well, what I found is the job has a lot of additional things that slow the pace down. See, it's funny. I actually have my degree in AI, so as all the AI stuff has been popping off, I have a very different perspective on it, I find, from most of the people that I will interact with. I tried starting a business at one point related to self-serve data for AI training, and then it didn't really go anywhere, despite all of the hype. And now there are products that do kind of what I had built, which is good to see, because I figured it would be sooner or later. The one thing that has really changed working with AI for me is a lot more planning and preparation rather than just building the thing. Because what I would do before is oh shoot, I just got hit by that entire shot. What I would do before was I'd basically start from a rough idea. I would block in the code sections of it and get something running that kind of does what I want, and then I would fiddle around with it little bit by bit. And now instead I plan with all of the documents of everything I want to do, and then have the AI fiddle around with it instead. They're making you do AI training? That's interesting. What kind of AI training do they even make people do? I wonder if I'm even going to be able to find my items if I run back. I don't think... oh, and the error reset on me. Man, I gotta change some of this testing stuff because... The only thing I ever created was an edit of a GBA ROM. Added grass to tiles and random events, Pokemon that were not encounterable, like Kanto Johto starters, first area legendaries. Oh, I wish I got into Pokemon modding. There were so many Pokemon mods that I would always see growing up, and I was like, I want to try that, or I wish I could make one. Never did. That's annoying. The only kind of training I would think that they should actually be doing is stuff around privacy and data protection with AI, because there really needs to be a larger emphasis on making people understand what you can and cannot put into certain AIs, and whether the company actually has a a locked down environment on the AI, or if they're using like publicly accessible endpoints or models, then they need to make sure that people are actually aware of what putting certain bits of information into it is going to cause. Because there are violations of data privacy I see as a consultant. Oh, I can only imagine. One of the things that has been the most, or was initially one of the most concerns at the company I work at, that I had raised, was whether the AI is sandboxed. Apparently, or not fully sandboxed, but it is apparently limited to, or supposed to be limited to, specific environments. But I still don't fully trust them in the background. I feel like there's not as much data segregation as a lot of the companies are saying that there is. Developers, both internal and external, are just dumping code into Claude. Yeah, so see, that's one of the things where it's like they want a lot of use for them, but then they end up getting used on public endpoints, and it's like, not sure if you really want that fully. So pretty much all the AI products that we have available, I've gone and had specific conversations with management and being like, hey, are we allowed to actually use this? Is there a security risk if we're using this or not? And as long as I've gotten the okay from them, then I'm like, all right, management, sign it off. Oh, we might have our tile set, our decor tiles. All right. So there is a plain configuration in the software I'm working that doesn't exist on any public site. Yeah, I've seen a couple of barriers like that as well, which is good to see them in place, but I really don't trust a lot of those data planes. Oh, that's terrifying. All right, I gotta close this. Turn the server off. Let's take a look at what is supposed to be here. So for your reference, here's the documentation that I've gone through for this specific, well, here's the initial documentation for it that the plans were made from, and then this specific subsection of the plans, this specific part of the phase, was documented in here for the goals that need to actually be covered for it. So I don't know how well it's going to actually have translated to it on this one. We should have our out of bounds decor though. One of the things I want to check first off is what the... Okay, so we have a handful of decor objects. I am going to copy this over into the base sprites as well. So I should have in here in the data decor, forest decor, large tree, large craggy tree, and large rock, where craggy tree is probably this second one. Anyways, I'm going to turn the server back on, connect back on the client, and then see how this actually ends up. I'm making everything is from scratch here, except for I'm using EBIT engine for the graphics, because my graphics engine, which you'll see this this laser pointer here that I can actually draw on my screen with. I have a bunch of configurations as well for this, but yeah, this laser pointer and effects is what I was originally planning on using for the graphics engine, except I did not implement it with GPU rendering, so I found EBIT engine to use instead. I've done all the back end and the front end other than the EBIT engine though. And there's no JavaScript involved. Everything is pure Go. So if I hit F2, we should see a bunch of stuff outside, and there's nothing. That might just be which zone I'm in. tile set added to all 6 target zones. Oh, well, I don't like that. Do I have anything important in my inventory? No, I'm going to go just run into a mob, respawn, and see what happens. Yeah, for pretty much all of my personal projects, and I've done a fair bit of graphic stuff now as well, like quite a lot of it actually at this point, it's all rendered in Go with... Oh, hey, we have Decor outside. Let's go. Oh, this is hype. This is exactly what I wanted. Look at that. There's no sprites for it, but hey. They are not centered correctly. But yeah, as I was saying, I use Go for all of my personal stuff, and then for work, I use Python because I'm a data engineer at work, despite the fact that I'm implementing an entire platform. Oh, no way, all of the stuff stayed the same. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I wasn't expecting those two between... Game has Godot engine as a client and server in C++, and they talk eNet protocol with protobuf. It was a fun learning experience too. I wanted to learn eNet, C++ developer at job. Very nice. Very nice. Oh, I'm actually so hyped about this. All the stuff is rotating on the completely wrong location, but that should be actually quite a simple thing. So I'm just going to grab a couple of print screens here. The decor is rendered. None of the rotations are happening in the correct location, though. They seem to be... Where do they seem like they're actually centered on these rotations? Centered on the middle part of the... middle part of the decor. They should be anchored along, or they seem to be anchored on the middle part of the decor. They should be anchored along the bottom middle where the what's the specific term, where the map editor, if I look into the environmental decor, where the footprint is. Footprint is set in the wrong locations. It looks like realm rotation to me is the key binding wrong. What do you mean by that? So what I'm saying is wrong with this. If you watch this tree here with the trunk is swinging where it's showing from. Like right now it's growing from in the map versus now it's way out of the map. So that implies that it's centered like roughly in the middle of the tree. Whereas if I go over to this this birch tree, you'll see if I'm standing next to it, no matter what, the trunk is rotating based around this, like where it actually meets the ground. So that's what I mean by the rotation is... Oh, that's... Oh, wait. Error reset? Yep, error reset. That one's a bit annoying that the rock pops in front of it, but again, I think that's a bug around the... No, the Windows screen is not in VS Code. It's actually a standalone client that pops up. I just have it configured in Streamlabs so that it picks up the game window for it. So if I run up... Actually, should I check the boss arena as well? That's probably a good idea. Oh yeah, that's driving me crazy. Okay, no, it wasn't added to the boss arena. And the boss one-shot me. So now I gotta run all the way back. It wasn't added down here either. I'm gonna minimize this. Where are my data zones? Town spawn did not have it added, so it should be added in. Why did it add it in the middle of the tint? That's terrible. Oh, that's really annoying on every single case. Okay, did they not define the cave decor then? That's probably the issue. There we go. It's in all of these. What else are you going to add to the game? Is it running through WebSockets? Yeah, it's running through TCP and UDP with WebSockets right now, depending on which specific need to be shared across. I have, like I said, I was planning on using my own hand-rolled graphics engine, but I didn't want to adapt mine for multi-platform and GPU rendering. I have a bad habit of doing everything manually, which is why I'm really enjoying the AI, because it speeds me up so much. It has moved the 10-year plan to like a 2-year plan. So if I look in the internal for client, the one downside to working with Go is I've never been able to get my file layout, or my file management, there we go, my file management to be as neat as I would like it with when I'm working with Python. So I end up with very flat file structures in Go, and then it's a pain when I want to try to make them more so for example, all the wires, I need to go through and probably break these into separate wires again. I was delaying that from last time, but QuickTime generator, player, ability. If I actually take a look at the why is client such a flat file structure? I thought I added additional files in there. Game shared, no. Give me messages. Where is fine. I'll take a look at client server, not logs. Context internal server, address 7777, and internal client. Internal client. Shouldn't be in the sync. Where is... It's not in world, I know that. It's been a while since I've actually looked through these. Client ability, client net send. Here is game. Input pivot engine. Network. There we go. Found the network. So it's just a standard net connection. Dial for connect. Got a read loop. And then send. I normally don't do much networking stuff, in all honesty, so there's likely some issues that I'm not aware of. Most of the stuff that I've focused on in my career is all back-end stuff, though. So I've been very focused on the actual... Why are there so few of these? Where's my notes? Yeah, I don't like Go's file system. They're... really pain in the ass. Deploy to a far enough location and try to experience ping, maybe. I will be doing that not immediately now, but it is in the plans. I have to get it moved over to a... I'm going to have it hosted on a separate part on my network, and then also move it over to one of the servers that I run. Let's see what happened here. Clean the fix instead of converting the world space sprite center through here. Screen. Footprint log, basically. Yeah, my goal is to avoid having to host this on cloud. I don't like a lot of the additional really costs and overhead that ends up getting. Hey, where did all of my stuff go? Oh, it's just not sending right away until the zone change is induced. Okay. When loading the server / client fresh, none of the out-of-bounds Decor loads until a zone transition happens. Verify that the wire is being sent on login. Or verify that the proper wire is being sent on login. Alright, I have to run all the way across the entire bit of map that I have implemented here because I saw that a couple of the other ones are set up with the cave. Oh, it probably helps if I actually turn the game back on. Anyways, the cave is apparently... or the danger zone is apparently use the cave decor. So I'm gonna run all the way over. Actually, I'm gonna pick up this gold and then run all the way over. Oh, why are things vanishing into the ether here? I've got to address those inventory bugs. Honestly, this was a lot faster to get this implemented than I was expecting today. Oh, also, Kelly, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. This was apparently a lot faster to implement than I was expecting it to take today. I was expecting it to take a good couple of hours to get all of this in and working, but I don't know how many bugs I've really got here. Oh, also the rotations are much nicer now. You'll see that they're actually rotating around the bottom parts. Okay, that's nice. Sure, the rocks probably just need a larger base of location. Yeah, I haven't really implemented a lot of those. I'm doing some build out of dev tools in this plan as well, specifically a map editor. But I really enjoy just getting to load into a world that I've been working on and walk around in it. One of the previous game engines that I made, I just sort of gave myself a super speed button, but I haven't bothered with any of those at the moment because I don't mind the slower movement a bit right now, especially while Claude is going and running around and doing stuff. It gives a bit of... Hey, look at all the rocks. I'm gonna need to figure out what I'm doing for the sprites here. I also need to figure out the base for the rocks. Rocks should probably have a base that's the entire width of them, rather than just in the one tile in the middle. I also think I need to make these a lot larger. Anyways, over into the cave where there's going to be actual cave decor. need a larger. They need to have blocking area the same width. Trees have blocking area the same as their trunk width, and bushes have blocking area the same. There we go. I think these still use the forest decor. I don't think it uses cave decor out here. Well, the cave decor still has trees. That's what I saw at the minimum. Oh, these really aren't close to the... And this is a pre-existing bug that I know I need to fix, where right now this transition boundary is kind of just this. The transition boundary is kind of a rectangle along here. Some of the other transition boundaries use like a semicircle, but basically it's a centered location of a shape that uses the transition boundary, and once the player has walked into it, then it dual loads both areas. But in this case, because I'm outside of the transition zone, then it single loads, and so I still see the non-existent locations out here. And I've been planning to fix it, but it hasn't really mattered. But now that everything gets populated with trees, it kind of does matter now. Well, that just made a lot more trees. The rocks definitely look better, but the trees don't. The other good thing right now is that I was worried about any sort of lag on the rendering, but it seems like it's fine. So I've got two options now, basically. I can end my stream early, or I can start looking through what I'm going to be implementing tomorrow. Ooh, decisions. I can also work on a couple of the different bugs that I have to fix. That's a tough choice. Darn wolves. I also think that if I look, I should probably make it so that this is able to be seen what I'm looking at. If I go and take a look at the decor, no, I want the types of decor. Sprite, footprint width, footprint height. Small tree stump, thorn bush, tree craggy. That's fine. I can update those as I'm updating the actual sprites. Because the next goal for tomorrow, I believe, is to actually get started on my world map editor. Map editor and then UI cleanup. Yeah, that looks a lot better for the rocks. So I think I probably will go through the documentation, make sure that I have the plan in mind for what everything's going to be covered scope-wise. That'll be a better use of my time than just being done for the day. This is the weekend though, because once I get the UI, once I get the game editor in place, that means that I'm run. Yeah, there really shouldn't be any trees for the cave. I wonder if there will be a better way for me to handle... Ouch. Chupacabra's hurt. Decisions. Anyways, I'm gonna minimize this. I might as well do something. So, we're gonna take a look at the Q5 map editor now. This is what's planned for tomorrow, more or less. Anyways, this is what's planned more or less for tomorrow. So, map editor blocks, fishing zone placement, which is fine. We'll just be able to add them at any point. So the goal is going to be a standalone visual tool for building and editing zone configs without direct JSON editing. Read and write the same zone configuration or config JSON and server load at startup. Primary use cases is aligning zone transition boundaries between zone groups, editing preload distances, painting walkability, placing decor and mob spawn points. Also for placing nodes resources, editing preload distance, painting walkability. Also for designing the overflow resource spawn locations. Verify the plan covers being able to toggle between overflow and regular. As the specifics to overflow, scaling rate. There we go. So decisions, we're going to have to, for the architecture, we're doing another standalone binary, no combat physics, no collision sim or server networking. Output parameter is just going to be direct JSON, similar to how, or the same as how the files are currently. Undo and redo is not needed at the moment. Multi-segment zone support is required. Multi-group editing. Multiple zone groups loaded simultaneously. Active group is editable. Others are referenced at reduced opacity. Mob support scope. Mob spawn point is placed in scope. Mob definition editing deferred. Preload distance unit tile count. Preload distance is the existing soft load transition feature. Editor exposes it by tile count. Boundary shape. Add. Again, this needs to also support editing for the overflow mechanics. Scope development tool only, not shipped to players. what it loads: zone config files, tiles, walkability, decor, spawn position, decor tile set configs for the decor type picker, zone group configs, mob configs, and atlas configs. What does not do: no combat simulation, no server networking, no game loop tick logic, no projectiles or pathfinding validation. Core editor features MVP multi-zone group view. All zone groups load simultaneously, each rendered with its own world space position. Active group is fully editable. All other groups render at reduced opacity as spatial reference. Click a tile in the reference group to make it active group. Primary purpose is align transition tile boundaries and preload distances across it. Notes. Add. Primary purpose is also configuring zone overflows. Zone grid, render each EBIT engine. Rendering using EBIT engine pan with middle click drag or arrow keys, zoom, scroll wheel, grid lines, toggle ability, walkability, paint tool, left click drag, mark tiles, walkable, non-walkable, color overlay, walkable, light green tint, non-walkable, dark red tint, ground tile, sprite rendered beneath the overlay, environment decor placement, decor type picker in sidebar populated from loaded data decor tile sets, left click place decor, right click remove decor, toggle solid flag on section selected place decor, multi-tile objects show footprint preview before placing, mob spawn point placement, mob type picker in sidebar, left click place spawn point marker, right click remove spawn point marker, spawn points display as labeled icons. It needs to handle the zone transitioning and preload distancing. Visual overlay showing the. I think the main thing that's going to be missing from here is handling the overflow portions, which we're making notes of and we'll make sure gets included in here. Visual overlay showing zone group boundaries as colored lines. Select a boundary between two adjacent groups to edit it. Preload distance. Tile count field in sidebar applies to the selected boundary. Boundary shape, toggle between rectangular and arc stored in zone config shown visually in the editor as the respective shape overlay. Both groups preload distances when a boundary is selected. Zone properties sidebar, zone name, segment ID, zone group assignment, out of bounds tile selection, out of bounds density override, overflow parameters, and then save. Save button writes active zone JSON to original file path. Unsaved changes indicator in title bar. Only the active zone group is saved. Reference groups are read-only in the editor. The architecture for this is going to be utilizing our editor or internal editor with an editor, viewport tools, render, sidebar file, multi-group, pan zoom, screen world coordination. Tool mode, paint decor, spawn boundary, tile grid, decor, zone properties, form, load all zone, simultaneous zone group management. Okay, entry point's going to be through the map editor or a new map editor, zone config additions, adjacent group, transition boundaries, adjacent group, forest path, preload distance tiles, boundary shape. The boundary shape field is the rectangular arc. This is already implemented a bit, but it's going to be segmented out into its own section of it. The server ignores this field. It is consumed only the client's zone transition renderer and the editor's visual overlay. Files, outstanding questions. I should probably make sure. Okay. Review the notes to add in the Q5 file. The primary portions which are missing is any of the references to how the editor will also handle, support the zone overflow. this is a key mechanic that needs to be supported. So what I'm referring to here is our zone overflows. If I take a look here through these spawn logs, you'll see here we have upkeep. Upkeep requires bosses defeated, the generation to have been completed, or the generation to have been pushed forward, and overflow zones, or sorry, actually this upkeep is based on the era, but you'll see here one of these notes is the overflow zones. Overflow zones is what happens when a zone has been neglected and players aren't actually participating in that zone, whether that be killing mobs or collecting the resources from that zone. This is a key mechanic around the maintenance of a zone for keeping it in pristine shape. What happens when a zone goes into overflow is there are specific resources and mobs that will begin to spawn to make traversing the zone more difficult. This includes much more dangerous mobs that are blocking key areas, or resources that take a lot longer to clear, cannot be traversed over, and are maybe even higher level requirements that are also blocking key access to other zones. So if I actually find one of the overflow notes, zone group danger. I definitely didn't have to scroll this far, but zone group danger pocket entered overflow. That means that not enough participation was happening in this area, and extra mobs and more dangerous things are going to spawn there. That makes it more difficult for players to traverse through it, which blocks access to other areas that are required for the era maintenance, which means that the era will be unsuccessful and cause a reset of the current era, which causes player combat levels to reset, resets the allocated feat points from the player, and actually distributes a series of rewards based on how far the players were able to push the world during that run through. So the players keep all of their skills, like these actual world skills, which enable the traversal and building of the world, but they lose all of their combat stats for it. You'll see I'm back to level 1. There's been multiple times where I've been much higher level. Right now the arrows are only set to like their 5-minute checks with 2 checks, so it's a 10-minute era, and that's primarily for testing purposes. They should be like weeks long. But the goal with this is sort of how a lot of games are doing seasonal content, and the seasons end up sort of dying after, well, not dying, but the popularity of season kind of looks like this. That's a terrible drawing of it. Popularity of a season is kind of like this. So when the season starts, there's a rapid spike. It peaks shortly after, and then there's a gradual fall off of players. But what happens is when you're playing a lot of these games, once you get to this sort of tail end of the season, you don't really see as many people around. It's not as fun. There's not so much to interact with. So what I've done instead is condense this into a continuous world. So once the world has not enough participation in it, so basically the world will continue to progress with different things being unlocked as things go on, or as time goes on. But if the population ever drops below a key threshold to maintain it, then it will cause basically a forced season reset, which is your combat stats. But there's also things that will be scaling difficulty-wise throughout it. The idea behind this is to make it so that you're kind of locked in to your character decisions in the meantime, until you're unable to participate enough in the world. Oh, that was a weird teleport bug. And it should basically be, act as an auto detection system of, hey, players are starting to get kind of bored with this season, or they're not able to do much for it. I don't like how this rock is rotating. This is really bugging me. Really bugging me. It's rotating correctly, but it still bugs me that the rock can be out here and I can walk over it. And also that I can't hide behind it. There's something wrong with this. And I can walk over this rock if I rotate the screen. This should be rendering the rock on top of the player. All right. Let's take a look though. So key additions decision table explicitly added explicit overflow editing scope scope decision and overflow config storage decision. What it loads added node configs for overflow spawn data. Multi-zone group view noted that overflow boundaries may differ from transition boundaries. Resource node placement fleshed out the full section was missing entirely. Overflow nodes, new full section covering view toggle, overflow spawn placement, and the overflow parameter sidebar with all 4 fields, threshold, scale rate, decay rate, max multiplier, including the JSON schema for both overflow block and overflow nodes array. Architecture, updated package file description to reference overflow state and tools, zone config additions, added the full overflow JSON schema alongside the existing boundary shape schema. Implementation order added steps 8 to 10, added a regular node placement, overflow toggle, and overflow node placement. Files to modify was added in verification. Okay, so really there's going to be a couple of things added in here. Notes about the overflow, I'm assuming. Reads between aligning zone transition boundaries between zone groups, editing preload distances, painting walkability, placing decor and mob spawn points, placing resource nodes, and configuring zone overflow. The mechanic by which neglected zones accumulate denser and differently distributed resources which spawn over time. Overflow editing zones, overflow config storage, zone config files for overflow was just added to these. Zone overflow as well, okay. And then this whole section was added for resource node placement. Node types are available from the left. Node type picker in the sidebar, populated from data nodes. Left click, right click, place nodes. Node placement obeys the same. Overflow mode, the overflow mechanic causes zones that have been underutilized, low harvest activity over time to accumulate a denser or differently distributed set of resource spawns. The editor supports designing and configuring this layer explicitly. Oh, I don't know how I gave myself hiccups. Overflow view toggle, toolbar toggle, regular to overflow. In regular view, standard node spawn points shown, overflow spawn points hidden. In overflow view, overflow spawn points shown, which is a distinct tint. A gold overlay, regular spawns shown at a reduced opacity for spatial reference. The two spawn sets are designed independently. Switching veins does not add which set is being edited. Or switching views, not veins. Holy, I've got resource nodes on my brain. Overflow spawn placement, identical workflow to regular node placement, available only when in overflow view, and overflow view may differ in type, density, and position from regular nodes. Overflow parameters, overflow threshold minutes, overflow scaling rate percent per min, the rate at which the effective overflow intensity ramps up after the threshold is crossed. 0% is binary on off. Greater than 0 is gradual ramp, reaching full overflow intensity at threshold plus 100 over rate minutes. Overflow decay rate, how quickly intensity drops back towards 0 once the zone is actively harvested again. Allows partially utilized zones to hold intermediate overflow state. max overflow multiplier. This is probably a mechanic I have to come back to again. There was a fair bit of testing that was done on this when it was implemented initially, but it was kind of just a binary. This happens, and then things start spawning faster. I do want the mechanic to be a bit more complex and feel more alive than that, but we'll come back to that. Cap on overflow. Spawn density prevents extreme accumulation in zones that are never visited. These files write directly into the JSON under an overflow block. Mob spawn segment. Okay, so overflow parameters. This just is likely mentioning overflow portions. Yeah. Boundary shapes, overflow, and overflow nodes. And then this is just going to be all the overflow resources. Yeah, okay, cool. So here's what changed about the node placement. Root cause render decorations ran before render objects, so all of the out of bounds decor was unconditionally painted behind every entity. A rock 5 pixels into out of bounds territory would render behind a player 5 pixels inside the zone, regardless of their actual relative depths. Fixed out of bound decor is now collected by out of bounds decor entries and merged into render objects. Unified render sort entry, slice before single sort function call. Every out of bounds rock and tree now gets proper depth key. It sorts correctly against players, mobs, and nodes. Tile break prefix and an out of bounds decor places out of bounds decor slightly behind players and mobs at equal depth, which is the right default. And entity standing exactly at the decor's south edge should appear in front of it. Okay. So, I'm fairly happy with what was added for the map editor as well. Decor, bug fixes, editor. So let's take a look at some of these bugs that we have in here that we might want to address. Ah, right. Campfire. When it is placed, even after it expires, it never gets removed from the world. Make sure the wire, make sure the data, make sure the wire data needs to be sent to remove it from the world when it expires. Also, I can't right click the fire when it's placed to examine or use it for cooking. Okay, let's see if we can get this fire bug fixed. We have ability to place campfire has been done. Resource gathering needs to be added to the era as well. That's going to be another thing to take a look at. Rework stats and skills UI. Role needs an icon. Robert. Sort of fixed. Individual herb or individual gear based outputs around herb / crushed. Minimap node colors is probably something else that I can fix or get fixed real quick. Full screen zoom in out. Projectile reflections need to be assessed. Inventory doesn't allow picking up gold when full. Inventory fullness. That's also something we should address. I'm also going to just hide this real quick. Where's my VS Code? Oh, it's all the way down to the bottom. Oh, I've still got plenty of usage to use. Yeah, we're going to be able to fix quite a few of these bugs then. So I think we'll spend a little bit of time fixing some of these bugs. We've been making notes of them for exactly that reason. Now's a good time to just address a little bit of that. While this is being done as well, we're going to take a look at the actual game, since this is much more interesting than looking at the VS Code. I love how we still only have 4 piety XP. The reason for that is because of how the scaling has worked. It's not set for 5-10 minute zones. It's very much set for being like fully operational, and the bravery XP is granting way faster than it should be. Bravery XP should be quite slow as well. We gotta get fishing and cooking trainable soon too, and assembly. We're gonna have to add something for assembly at some point. I'm not entirely sure what the best first implementation will be for assembly. I was thinking whether it would be gear related or if I want it to be world related. World related would be things like barriers and barricades, but we need more NPCs and NPC interactions for that. I was waiting until after we get the town reworked with the new editing UI tomorrow before we actually take a look at enabling anything, because it was going to be sort of the first set of quests around town to be able to actually secure the town from the overflow mobs or the dangerous mobs, because we do need to get a quest system implemented at some point soon. Because right now the only options of things to do is to go collect resources and go fight stuff. There's no real interacting with the people of the world yet. So I think what we're going to end up doing, and this is where we're going to end up adding the assembly skill in as well. We'll also bake in the sort of the tutorial with the town. Once we have our UI, we're going to set up the actual town, add a whole bunch more NPCs into the town that can be that you can talk with, that you can get quests from, that you can get rewards from, and then we will set up probably 2 or 3 quests to we'll set up a couple of different quests. They'll probably culminate in killing the orc boss. I think that'll be the last sort of quest. It'll be kill the orc boss and modify a quest, and that'll be the end of the tutorial. Or at least the end of the low game tutorial, because there's also going to need to be a quest that pops up sort of when the player gets to their max combat level again, which allows them to learn about unlocking other classes. And it'll be less that the quest pops up and more that the quest becomes available to the user then. But we're going to have to get the quest system in afterwards. Lots of decisions to make. I'm sorry, I'm just double checking that my bot's working correctly. Got to make sure that its usual outputs are there. They're looking fine. It doesn't look like there's any issue. I really chose kind of a shitty time for my stream based around this as well, because I constantly need to check my bot in the middle of actually during the stream. I should be checking it during the stream, but I always forget about it, which is not great for that, because if something went wrong, I kind of want to know about it and go and fix it right away. Do I have cooldowns and do I have cooldown and bulk editing? Crafting cooldown and bulk edit. Stack of herbs and have it process all of them over 40 seconds. One per 0.5 second. Which is the cooldown. Okay, we're gonna want to make sure that we take note of those. Okay, so campfire expiry issue. Placed object now has expires at time. Examine text string. Item config. Placeable. Else place item. Campfire has placeable duration. No. This is wrong. The placeable duration sec needs to be. Needs to follow the correct time equation determined. Here we go. I can spell. Determined in Q2 multiple resources. Oh, we just deleted our wolf fur. How did that happen? I think we tried to withdraw it to our inventory, but we don't have... Yeah, we just deleted a couple chupacabra fangs there. I'm gonna turn the client off. Back on. I'm also gonna fix the data saves players. Just gonna give myself these Chakara fangs back because they're kind of hard to get at the moment. So if I turn Hatchet back on, hey, where'd my campfire go? All right, I'm just gonna watch to see if this campfire disappears. There are a couple of bugs with the inventory. And the campfire disappeared. Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted to see. That means it's working mostly correctly now. Okay, so we've got the inventory doesn't allow picking up gold when full. It should. And the gold, if there's already a stack of gold. Inventory would be that. Oh shoot. Withdrawing item from bank. Inventory center. All right, let's send it off to fix a couple of these. In the meantime, I'm going to we'll be right back in a second. Okay, I'm back. Cat has food. Alright, I was gonna go take a look at specifically this rock here. I should probably make it so that I can't actually, so that it can't rotate out of bounds, but it's fine. This is all just placeholder stuff outside of the moment. Which? This is weird. This is weird placeholder art. It's fine. Probably easier if I go fight a wolf. Because they have more unique drops. Actually, it's probably easier if I go fight a... not a shade. What's the other one? A lurker. A lurker would be good. Hey, Mr. Wolfies, where are you? Oh, shoot. Hey, get over here. Hey, get over here. Ow, I don't have mana. I don't have mana. There we go. Well, that didn't do much for helping fill our inventory, considering we had to use 3 health potions. Oh, these aren't going to help either. I guess we really do have to go fight the shades. Or we'll lose everything to the chupacabras. Trying to see this. Now full picture, 3 distinct bugs, all in how inventory fullness is checked. Handle pickup item, blocks gold even when an existing gold stack could absorb it. Handle craft item, calls place in inventory with no space check, silently drops output. Handle bank withdrawal, uses inventory full, which blocks even when a partial stack would fit. The last one doesn't sound right. The fix for crafting requires simultaneously post-consume state before committing. Ouch. Well, it'll be easier if I just do this. Drop, pick up, drop, great. Inventory added. Inventory can accept smaller than inventory full. Returns true if the item can merge into a partial stack. Can also pick up item. Interact and handle craft simulates consumption before committing. Runs the consume logic on the copy, then checks if the output fits the post-consume state. If any output doesn't fit the whole craft, aborts and no side effect. Shop, handle bank withdrawal, replace with inventory full with not inventory can accept, which correctly allows withdrawal when a partial stack. All right, well, let's close this and reopen it. Would pass the guard, it would be placed, would be called find no valid slot. Okay, well I can't craft a campfire now, that's good. Okay, we fixed that bug. Very nice. All right, we are past the 2-hour mark now. So, oh, I do have one more thing I want to try to fix. We're doing all the bug fixes right now. Inventory one's fixed, campfire fixed. Right now for objects which are taller than one tile, the trees, the player can only click to interact with them. The blocking the tile, bottom trunk, and can even though they can see the tree, player should be able to click on the trees anywhere. Click / right click on the tree anywhere and either interact or see the context menu. For this large tree, I want to be able to click / interact with the leaves part too. After all, that's part of the tree. Should tree. What if I wanted to examine that? One other thing. Inventory full drops. Gather the resources below the object. This means that logs get stuck under large trees. And need to make it drop under the car when but still oh, I'm tired, man. Oh, I'm real tired. I need to figure out what I'm doing with buildings as well, because right now the buildings just kind of show the floor plan. Oh, hey, a person that I get to ban. Awesome. Get the fuck out of here. Don't need no advertising bots in here. Let's see, let me understand the nodes are rendered. Sprite data is available on the client side. Files get touched for all these fixes. It's insane. I'm gonna need to get brights for these because these kind of suck. I want these ones to be like... Anyways, I'll take a look at that at another point. I'm just happy to have them out there. It's a real big addition for the game. Man, I can never get behind the tree. This is crazy. Look at this. This tree is immortal. Well, immortal. It's not like it's gonna die. The tree's just... Oh, there we go. Oh, wait. That's what the movement feels like. The movement feels like World of Warcraft. This is how I move in World of Warcraft. This isn't how I move in Realm. That's why... Right. Because... When I'm playing in World of Warcraft, I move with like QWES instead of WASD. Oh, that's a really weird thing to notice. Because I was like, yeah, there's camera rotation. It's 2D like or like Realm, but like it doesn't feel like that to me because I never use camera rotation in Realm. That just doesn't make sense for me. But I do use camera rotation in WoW. That's exactly what this feels like to me. I could have done RuneScape-esque rotation with like the middle mouse button. Might enable that as well at some point anyways. I think that could be pretty decent. Clean build, here's what's changed and why. Node hit test screen, new helper. When the node atlas is loaded, it computes the sprite screen, space, and bounding positions. The exact answer to this box matches exactly what the renderer draws and falls back to the world space footprint rectangle when sprites are off. Well, let's try this out first off. Clicking anywhere on the render, replace the world sprite circle one tile radius with node hit tile, clicking anywhere. Wait, what? I don't know what I did there. I just redid my last commit, but it shouldn't have worked. Anyways. Hey, we can click the whole tree now. Oh, that's great. Oh, uh-oh. Oh, and it works on rotation. Oh, this is great. But it still walks us to the bottom part. Cinema. This is exactly what I wanted. Okay, we are looking good. I wonder if I should be able to examine the stuff that's outside of the map. I don't think that's a good idea to add right now. That seems like a lot of additional rendering stuff. Oh, this is great. All right, anyways, this is where I'm going to end it off because I'm super happy with what's been done. We got our procedurally generated out of bounds decor. We fixed a whole bunch of bugs related to the inventory, pickup items, creating items, basically resources vanishing off into the ether. And we fixed the one bug that had been annoying me where I can't actually click on the top parts of the trees. Only downside is now I can click on the invisible parts of the trees, but that's another issue for another day, right? Anyways, thank you everyone for stopping by. If you are lurking and you are interested in seeing how this game continues to unfold, please feel free to drop a follow. This was day 50. I'm looking forward to the next 50 days as well. This is going to be one long project, and we are rapidly closing in on it reaching the first play testable state, where I'm then going to have to actually make sure that I set up my home server for being able to expose. Oh, I am sending things everywhere. Anyways, yeah. We are rapidly getting close to the point where it's going to be ready to actually have some play testing and some networking tests and see how